Welcome everyone, Sir Heroscape here today, coming at you with a quick video to get you prepped and ready for the new age of Heroscape starting this Friday. We've got quite a bit of anticipation building over the next few days as we wait to get official announcements on the future of Heroscape through Renegade. In the meantime, I'm sending out this video with a few key nuggets from some of the Discord comments from Scott G, who's the head producer at Renegade. I'll also share some of my own feelings and comments on how we as a community should treat the new age of Annihilation, Heroscape, and then thirdly, talking about the affiliate program and my involvement with that with Renegade. So 3 brief things for us to cover here in the next few minutes. So let's jump right in. So to start us off, Scott G on the Discord said in just 7 days, lots will be revealed, Wave 1 releases, organized play programs, a new set website, a site for tournaments and competitive player, promos, and a huge presence at Gen Con. The stuff we have planned is like nothing Heroscape has ever had before. The team is doing a fantastic job putting this all together. So, first off, I appreciate that coming from Scott. I liked here that he confirmed some pretty neat things like a new website I'm not sure if these are 2 separate things or one in the same. He says a new website, a site for tournaments and competitive players, promos, and a huge presence at Gen Con. So I don't know if that's a new website and another site for tournaments and competitive players, or if it's a new website and then a site for tournaments and competitive players is the descriptor of the new website. So I'm not 100% sure on that, but the fact that there's going to be a new website is pretty cool. Heroscapers.com is about 15 years old in terms of website construction. So it's pretty outdated. So having a new website will be interesting to see how it's structured and will be used by the community. I think Heroscapers.com will still be, at least initially, the center for a majority of us because that's what we know and that's what we've been using. But a new site, owned by Renegade and managed and kind of adminned by Renegade will be interesting. So I'm curious to see how that pans out. Boromir was pretty good about frankly asking this question to Scott G. He says, does backwards compatible mean that new product is tested with and against OG units, or just that the rules are still the same? Scott G. Yes, I believe that this has also been answered before. Old was used in testing for Age of Annihilation. Of course, as new comes out over the next years, that pool will grow. As others have mentioned, if you're interested in becoming a playtester, there's an open application process. So this is interesting because this was creating a lot of controversy, especially from that leak on Reddit. How they were originally saying that there was no testing against OG units. And I think, there might have been some truth to that, but he's claiming and kind of setting the record straight here that at least, recently, and it's possible that prior to the Reddit post that they weren't doing it, but at least between the Reddit post and now, he could honestly say, if that were the case, that they test against OG Heroscape. So, he's confirming that, yes, these have been tested. Whether or not we trust that testing because, it's involving people that are not super familiar with Heroscape, that will remain to be seen. But, yeah, so I just thought that was actually a really good nugget to hear from Scott G. Lee Hoff. You will find out, I can't remember actually what she's referring to here about March 1st, but she says, I'm not sure if you saw any posts or responses from me, but we Renegade are really focused on preparing everything in Renegade Con and launch. I can assure you some of the questions and concerns the community has from a recent leaks will be addressed. Oh, right. So she was actually commenting on someone who said, hey, are you guys ever going to address, some stuff, I think is what they were asking. And she's basically pointing out, yep, you're going to find out. We are going to cover this on this Friday, which I think is honestly pretty great that they can already confirm that they're going to address some of these leaks, which, honestly, credit to them. There's two different fields of view, right? You can, as soon as a leak, gets out, you can immediately try and stop it and immediately have press releases and, kind of try and put out the fire, or you can be strategic, thoughtful, sit back, everyone kind of is tight-lipped about it, make sure everyone's on the same page in terms of the communication, and then obviously they already knew they had this presentation on March 1st, so, use that as an opportunity. So that's good to know that they plan on covering that. I thought this was really cool. Majora said Craig is still in contact with Renegade and has said he's still involved, which a lot of people were pretty skeptical about. And so anyway, so Leaf here confirms that, Lee Hoff here confirms that, which I actually did not know. I did not know that they were still involving Craig in the designs and kind of this, how Heroscape was being brought back. I kind of assumed that once it moved on past Avalon Hill that maybe he wasn't as involved, or would be more of a kind of a side character, sidekick type of role, which may be true to some extent. He's not necessarily on a the lead team anymore, right? But just knowing that, again, he's still quite involved is pretty great. I think that's just awesome that was confirmed. Scott G was confirming that you will get to see some final cards in the stream for sure, but really that's probably not the best parts, as many of you have seen a lot of this from the original campaign already. So we did, so there are a couple things on this particular comment. You could read into this and basically say nothing in the cards has changed because Scott G is saying you've already seen the cards, no big deal. So that could indicate that they actually didn't end up changing, or the leaks that were saying they were going to change the cards maybe were good and effective, and so the changes they made they got rid of and they did revert back to the originals. I'm not sure. So he doesn't confirm here whether or not any changes were made, but I think generally speaking here, we probably shouldn't, or rather we probably won't be shocked by the cards, right? If changes were made, they were probably small within points, small stat lines, but the majority of the abilities were probably what we're familiar with. So I think it's interesting how he confirms this. He's still a little bit vague, but interesting that he was saying, hey, it's, you guys are going to be familiar with these things. So that was pretty cool. Scott G. So he was talking here about, people being involved in videos, right? Back with Avalon Hill, you didn't have a lot of, content creators or content in terms of gameplay videos. And Vecna was pointing that out. And he says it's a ton of time to do those. We do have a much bigger production in the works for when we get closer to release to showcase the gameplay, something to reach many new people and show them how awesome Heroscape is. So it sounds like, honestly, the answer to that is they don't have any of that right now. They've been really busy with a lot of other things, so it sounds like they probably haven't prioritized getting video content and gameplay videos, which is a little bit of a concern because I think that was extremely, delayed and a little too late with Avalon Hill, right? They had the instruction manuals and the pictures, but they didn't really have influencers and gameplay videos ready to go out the gate. So a little bit concerned by that, hoping they are able to pull together something. But yeah, I mean, it's on their mind, obviously. They plan on doing it. It's just, it sounds like not right out the gate. All right. So he's talking about Gen Con. And Scott here is saying we can do one much better. You're really going to want to attend Gen Con if this is something you're into. Oh, I've said too much. I'll be going now. Just an FYI, Gen Con event registration opens noon Eastern on May 19th. Badges are on sale now, just in case anyone is interested. So there was some conversation about Gen Con events, or rather whether or not there would be Gen Con events this year. And I think this pretty much confirms it. It sounds like there's going to be some really big, events or prizes or, something, promos maybe. I mean, it is the first Gen Con that Heroscape will have returned officially in an official capacity in 14 years, right? So, unfortunately, I don't have the finances to go to all the conventions out there, and so unfortunately I won't be able to make it, but, if you can, by all means, this would be the year to go. It sounds like they've got a lot of really cool stuff planned, and I think that's going to be really exciting for a lot of people who can make it. Something that I think Scott was really good at confirming here is just the international involvement. They were asking about other conventions, and it sounds like they're going to be demoing Heroscape in the UK Games Expo. And then at the bottom there, he mentions that they'll be in Germany for Essen in October. So not only are they being involved in Gen Con, but they're going to be involved in, international conventions as well, which I think is really pretty cool. I really like that they have a more global outlook. Not that it wasn't that way before, but just that is what they're planning on out the gate is pretty incredible, and I love that. So I think that's one thing that they're doing good, is they're making sure that this is reaching our international communities. So again, just quick little nuggets, tidbits here and there from the Discord conversations of the past couple days that I pulled out from Scott G, who provided some good little information for us to kind of grab onto and sink our teeth into a little bit. I will say that Renegade has been pretty tight-lipped after the last several months, just because of leaks and rumors. It kind of makes sense that they would just be like, you know what, let's just hold off until March 1st. That said, we all have our reservations still, right? I'm excited. I have, that bubbling, kid mentality of, okay, confirm the content that we've seen before. And if there are changes, what are they going to be? So we have some reservations, right? We've been burned already. But this leads me to kind of my next point, is that I think as a Heroscape community, we have to do everything in our power, despite our reservations, to support Renegade as much as we can. And that's really hard to say, because part of that support is your wallet, right? Money. But I think it's just a very real scenario we're in. Even if there might be some terrain or designs that we're not crazy about, or we're, concerned about, power level, as a community, we're going to figure it out, right? Even if they infuse new units into the game that they don't really understand in terms of balance or competitiveness, the game back in the day had to figure itself out, right? When Heroscape first came out, Raylan Rise the Valkyrie was fine, at +2 extra defense, no big deal. Like, she could get sniped by Savaris, right? Drake Rise the Valkyrie could counter Savaris because Savaris couldn't even attack him, right? It was always just this interesting game when you first started out with Heroscape, because the units were very disparate. They didn't have a lot of synergies. And then as you continued to build the game, Raylan's value became A tier, right? S tier, really, right? And so the units shifted over time in terms of their power level, in terms of understanding competitiveness and synergies. And so because the game develops over time, I think initially it's going to be hard for us to really grasp new Heroscape, like true new Heroscape, and how it fits into the rest, of the units and synergy webs. So I think we need to be patient. I think we need to support new Heroscape as much as possible, and roll with the punches, right? I mean, this game's been quote unquote dead or out of production officially for 14 years, right? If there's concerns about balance, who knows? Maybe Renegade's going to adopt a different mentality than in the past. In the past, I don't think there were ever official adjustments after a card was released. I think there were beta versions or erratas that basically corrected like typos. But it's possible, who knows, but it's possible Renegade might have an active adjustment policy to units, right? It's possible that they say, hey, over the course of, the first year or two of Heroscape being back, we're going to evaluate the balance of units and reevaluate point totals, right? And maybe Heroscape will be more of a living, breathing, competitive game where, point totals shift based off of current balance or something. I don't know. That doesn't seem realistic to me at all. I'm just saying, just because it's not being done today doesn't mean it can't be done tomorrow, right? Just because Renegade releases Age of Annihilation and says, hey, here's some really cool new content, doesn't mean that they can't, months later, still, release other new units that help balance those units, or, create competitive formats that make all units, playable. Or maybe they do adopt some sort of delta, point system like the community's created, and involve more of the community in that type of effort. We don't know, right? Heroscape, in an official capacity, I think has the opportunity to do anything, right? The community is going to be involved and have opinions, and we'll be able to provide that. And if Renegade's smart, they'll involve us and talk to us and get ideas from us and bounce ideas out from us and see kind of what's going to work. But just because it's not being done today doesn't mean it can't be done tomorrow. So if we come out the gate and support them and do our best to, financially show our support, right? And they make enough money to really say, hey, Heroscape's something that people want to do and play, we're really going to have a great opportunity on our hands to see the game continue to flourish and thrive, I think. Again, we don't know what we don't know. It's going to get announced on Friday, and then as a community and as, gamers in general, we're going to prove whether or not Heroscape deserves to stay on the shelves. And I want to prove that it's going to stay on the shelves. And so I'm going to do everything in my power to do that. And so I just think, despite all of our reservations and our concerns, the best thing we can do is try to, be as optimistic as possible and provide as much honest feedback as possible as well. Because even if it is somewhat negative, or some criticisms that the community has, the Renegade needs to hear it regardless, right? If we want our game to be living and breathing, then we need to help them and share with them our thoughts and feelings. And then it's up to them whether or not they hear it, right? And so, but they need to know that we support them and that we want to see them succeed. That's the biggest thing. Is it's hard for people to want to create and adjust and change for us, right? It's going to be hard for Renegade to want to change something or do something different for the community if they don't feel like they can trust us and support us, right? And it goes both ways, right? Absolutely. So just some of my own personal thoughts, my own soapbox, if you will. Jumping off the soapbox really quick, my third point about the Renegade affiliate program, that is something that I am a member of. And honestly, it's something that any of you can be a member of. But as an affiliate of Renegade, all that really means is that I have a unique code that, when used by you out there, right? When you purchase anything on the Renegade site, so Heroscape or any other games, then they actually give a 10% commission to my account. And I'm totally being transparent because they advertise it. You can literally go search it up and see that it's being advertised that way. And so I signed up for their program. It's really cool. I think that's an awesome way to kind of support the channel. I've never really reached out and gotten, sponsors for the channel. We've done some discounts here or there for people and for websites that have wanted it, but there's been no official sponsors for the channel, and I haven't really, come to you guys asking you for support. And so this is just one way that you can kind of show your support, is that as you buy Heroscape this coming week and in the future, or any game at Renegade, I just ask that you use my affiliate link here, and it'll be in the description. It's just a link to the website itself, and it just has my own unique code. So once you're on the website itself, when you click the link, it'll register that link as what you used when you purchased your items. And so I think that's a great opportunity, again, to help support the channel, and ask that you guys take advantage of that. So that's it for me. Hopefully this was a good, nice, quick little pick you up for this weekend's announcements, and we'll see you guys on Friday. I will be doing a live stream of the live react to the content that is presented by Renegade. So I'll be at Hexacon, which will be awesome this week, and I'll be doing it live from Hexacon, so should be good. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.